everybody, and welcome. It is I, your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Seeby. And happy happy Friday, guys. Yes, we're going to do things a little different this week, just because of scheduling issues and people needing days off. So I am moving this to Friday. We are going to do what we normally would do on Thursdays, but we're doing it today on Friday. And that is the exercise that we like to call Picture This. What is Picture This? Well, you guys have been watching Picture This for a while. You guys should know what Picture This is. It's when I give you an image, a picture, a photograph, a painting, a cartoon, a comic strip, whatever it is, some sort of image. And your job in that image is to write a chorus based on that image. Now, this is one of my favorite exercises. The ghostwriting class and this one are two of my faves. And the reason being is because it's such a challenge that you have to take a song that you already know, especially with ghostwriting, and change the words verbatim and put your own original words in every line. But the reason I love Picture This is because you have to tell a story based on just an image that you're looking at. A frozen moment in time, right? We're just looking at a picture. We don't know what happened before it or after. Just click and we have to write something based on that. Okay. This really helps with your chops. This really helps with you getting your writing together better because you're forced to look at something and make decisions and come up with a story that's short and sweet and to the point, which what good choruses always are. They're short, sweet, and to the point, and they really sum up the whole thing. That's why it's called a hook. So your job today is to write a hook based on an image that I'm going to give you. Now, one of the things I also would recommend that you guys do when you're looking for rhymes or, words that rhyme together, it's okay to go and look up on the internet. You can Google this. What word rhymes with, and whatever word you're looking for a rhyme, type that word in. It'll show you a 1 syllable, a 2 syllable, all the way up to 5 or 6 or 7 syllables based on that word. So, and I don't mind you guys doing that. It's, if you can't think of it in your mind, look it up. It's fine. It just gives you words that rhyme, and you might see 4 or 5 words that just make you go, oh my God, I could go 5 different ways just based on those 3 or 4 words that I saw. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, it really, really does. And so I never want you to think that you can't go on the internet and find a word that rhymes with that word if you can't find one up here first. But that doesn't even matter. I always got my rhyming Google search ready. There's a million rhyming dictionaries. Just look them up. Or, I have a little book of rhyming dictionaries, but I don't use that anymore because I got the internet right here. So it's so much easier to do that rather than, go through a book when I just need that one word I know I'm going to use for a rhyme. So anyway, this really helps because as a songwriter, it's your job to make feelings come out of words. And what better way to come up with feelings than through a photograph of some sort, And some of the pictures I give you guys are funny or sad or tragic or just kind of abstract, and you have to come up with something that's more definitive based on the picture. But, I'm always looking for something interesting in the photograph, something that tells a story without saying any words, and that's the whole point. Your job is to bring words to a picture that pretty much tells a story on itself without really, but the story could be a million different ways. You can make it go, several different routes. It doesn't matter. So you look at a photograph and you say, man, what could I say about that? Well, there's a million ways you can go. Now, why do we do this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because sometimes you don't just feel dripping with inspiration, and you need something as a catalyst to push you forward to come up with something that's creative. You don't always feel, I don't always feel creative. And, but when I'm forced to work between the hours of 4:30 to 7:30, and people are coming over for songwriting session, I have to have a lot of ideas in my stable. Do you know what I mean? And I don't always feel like I'm ready to just throw out, you know, tons of inspired, mesmerizing lyrics. I need to go somewhere mentally to get myself prepared to write songs, prepared. And I think that when we were doing this, even back at the studio, I really loved the fact that we would, listening to everybody. Like I would show you guys a photograph, and then everybody would come up with a title for that picture. And I love that. I love when we were just doing titles. Like that was such a cool way of writing a song. Like titles can set off a whole song. So if you come up with a cool title, your chances of coming up with a good song are pretty good, you know? And a good picture will inspire you to write a good title. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and you can do it vice versa. You can come up with a title first, and then if even if you don't have a picture, you visualize that title up here, and what would that title look like? What would the picture be of that title? So picture first, you can do it, or um, title first, and then come up with the image in your mind. You can do it that way as well. I've done both. I've done both. But I used to love in class though when we had the big TV screen and we would look at screensavers, and the pictures would change every couple of minutes, but they would fade in and then fade out, and a new picture would come in, and we would stare at those pictures, and then we would come up with an idea or a song title just based on whatever image came up. One time it was like a rain thing in the forest, it was like spring rain or something. Or I saw one, it was like a photograph of Arizona at sundown. It was, and somebody in class called it Lost in the Beautiful. I thought that was really cool. And that can go so many ways. It doesn't have to be about the picture itself. I mean, you know, when you meet somebody new and you're in love, you're lost in their beauty. So it could be that. It was just the picture was the catalyst for the idea to continue. You know what I mean? So, anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you this photograph that I based. I'm going to show you my lyrics, and then I can't wait to see what you guys write for this as your exercise. So, anyway, here is the photograph. All right, so you saw the photograph. It's two worlds like this with two astronauts trying to touch each other like this. One's completely over the other's head. And I just thought that was such a cool photograph. I thought, and one planet's red and the other one's blue. And this just gave me a lot of mental ideas for songs. Okay. And so I can't wait to see what you guys write for this, but I'm going to show you what I wrote for it. Okay. So I called it Worlds Apart. And I said, I know that we're worlds apart. I didn't want to break your heart. Never meant to make you cry. And never, no, and didn't want to say goodbye. But I know that we're worlds apart. But I know that we're worlds apart. So, that's my chorus. based on that picture. So I looked at it, and of course, I put it into a real life setting. Of course, a real life setting would be, the expression is we're worlds apart. It just means we're very different. But this picture made me see it in a literal sense, but it was the catalyst for me to start my idea with this course, which I call Worlds Apart. So, guys, that is all the time that we have for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. I can't wait to see what you guys write for this. So, when we meet in the Tuesday live Zoom class, let's talk about this next week. We'll talk about it because you're going to see it next week. Anyway, this is your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Seavey. So, guys, I love you. Be safe. Please be safe out there with COVID. And I love you guys and miss you. And I will see you tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace.